taking away the Gwen, which good to kind of take that away from Sheer and potentially setting up for that Scion that they have been coveting every single series.
And so far, no support focus, as we usually see that support focus go in the second phase of picks and bans. WE on that blue side are just going to first pick the Trundle. We've had some question marks about blind Trundles in the past. It's going to be instantly answered to by the fire and flame of the Rumble and Corki.
All right, so Corki giving them some early skirmishing, the Rumble there for priority is allow them to play a little bit later. I was wondering what matchup we were going to see. I know that Galio has really fallen out of favor in topside. So taking the Ornn already from WE, I'm liking this. I think that what you've already set up for yourself gives you a lot of pick potential with the Trundle. And then Ornn, obviously, talking about going later into the game, pieces are going to match that. I love this here for WE.
WE is going full-on scaling as they get the Rise in there as well. Some mobility out of mid lane, which I gotta say is going to be impactful when we talked about that mid lane head-to-head. We'll see what they want to grab for FPX on the other side before we go into the second phase. Getting some tools for Jwei to get that setup, to get that shot calling underway could be the at least go-to for FPX so far.
Okay, FPX, they need to be thinking about not only the Nautilus, but I think in particular getting rid of the Alistar, just making sure that Vampire's not engaged. There's been a few games now where WE have put Vampire on things like Braum that I'm not necessarily too excited about. Even his Nico, while I think in lane he was one of the better Nikos that we saw in support, I think he treated it too much like he was playing an actual tank and didn't necessarily respect the HP. That's such an important part when you are playing frontline, is when you are allowed to take damage.
Yeah, and that can sometimes be a difficult process to work through in these fights, especially for some of the lower tier teams on the totem pole here. But as we go in the second phase, we do have that Poppy ban focusing on what can be some of that mobility lockdown, but it will be the Yone ban, at least by WE, so focusing that mid lane matchup for the Rise.
Such an interesting start to this draft because WE have absolutely zero priority on Gwen. They have a lot of champions that I think really suffer versus her, and then the Poppy for FPX, it's a champion that we've seen be so widespread, but one of the few teams in the LPL that have absolutely zero priority on this kind of champion. So no Alistar taken away. Kind of interesting to me. I mean, you're still, again, still leaving options for Vampire to play that forward aggressive kind of player that he is.
God, if they get Alistar, that front line is beefy. I mean, grade A Wagyu style for WE if they end up getting that. But we'll see. Maybe FPX want to go with a little bit of a lighter comp, maybe something a little bit less on the healthy side to try to counteract that Monki subjugation. FPX gonna still have their counter pick available to them as well as they go ahead and wait for their fourth pick.
Maybe they're waiting for like a Silas angle if you know that you're going to be getting an Alistar. I think that knowing that the Ahri is coming on through makes me a little bit sad. We see WE right now. I think you do need some kind of bot lane that's going to be able to push around. It's hard to get priority versus a Corki early on, but that is something that I would be thinking about. Potentially even stuff like Jhin just to be able to hold down the lane. That's not the case. It looks like they're going to be going for more dive. I like this. They've now swapped in terms of their compositions here from WE. Instead of necessarily trying to play side lanes with this Rise, I think making sure that you can dive, get this Trundle into a good spot, allow him to have all of this engaged around him, setting up WE for success.
I really like WE's composition here. I feel like FPX were just left to grab some of the scraps, and I might come back to regret saying that. But on paper, without execution being a threshold here, WE's comp looks so stout moving forward. Their win condition is clear, and it's extremely important that we set that up for WE ahead of time because this could be their first series win of the split.
Oh, I'm just worried here, Lennon, because like FPX, they do have tools to be able to fight. It is as plain as day. You have a Ahri to set up alongside this Vi. This Vi Ahri combo is still potent even after nerfs to both of these champions. But we're on 25-15. Alistar has now lost 7 base armor, now going down to 40, which sounds kind of nerdy, but you're also playing into Corki, who more often than not is going to start Gatling Gun, and he has his passive. I need to see FPX in the laning phase really take it to their opponents before these first 1.5 items really come through. Otherwise, I think things start to get very dicey.
That's the difference between the two compositions. There's a lot of room for mechanical execution on the side of FPX to get those advantages, but it is a comp that wants to have a bit of a snowball. Yes, you have some scaling, you have some team fight ability as well as you go later, but you look on the other side, there's some big guns on that side as you go on. You get a lot of scaling on the side of WE, so I'm looking for FPX to try to set the tone early.
That's the plan. Maybe a couple early dragons are going to have priority here with this bottom lane. Milky Way in particular, man, lead the game from the front.
Well, here we go. First game and only series of the night. WE versus FPX. Game 1 kicking off now.
We're going to have to fix this, guys. Oh, what were these Jios? This was all over the place. I heard some weak-willed ones. Oh,
the signage was good, though. The signage was good.
We've only got one series tonight, man.
Vampire. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I agree. We should send a letter.
A strongly written letter.
A strongly worded letter.
Here's a modest proposal for all your Jios. Well, early game here, Lennon. Doesn't seem like we're going to get too much action, especially from Trundle, but I think Milky Way needs to be very, very careful as to where and when he shows up on the map, because you do not want to be getting run down by the big old ugly beast in the jungle.
I do expect a little bit of skirmishing potential between the two junglers. Obviously, opposite sides maybe makes that a little bit less often that it's going to be happening. But I also want to, since we have a little bit of time here, what is your thoughts and feelings about the spellbook meta here for supports? Because I love it. I think the variability that it brings to the table is so fun.
So I've kind of talked about this before, but support doesn't usually have a lot of ways of interacting with the game outside of just playing engage a lot of the time. And so letting support players play the map a little bit wider, definitely really strong. I'm going to be sad when this gets nerfed, because eventually this is just going to happen.
You think
and
so?
probably this rune's probably just going to get removed from the game, unfortunately, because they can never balance it. Same reason we didn't have like Omni Stone for a long time.
Yeah, true. Kleptomancy's gone. Man, all of them are gone.
Turns out breaking the rules is pretty OP.
True. FPX will end up getting the initial prio down here. We'll move out for a little bit of vision to stay safe. Luckily, they are doing that, as we will see that monkey pathing going down towards bot side. I do believe that's 100th game in the LPL for both Karis and Taeyoon, as LCK calendar transfers. Feels really good.
Welcome to the league. Gonna be noted here that because FPX never really crossed the river line, they never established vision over into Monkey's jungle camps. That is not the same that can be said here for WE. They had a ward on Milky Way's Raptors, so they know he's on the top side of the map right now. Cube does need to be a little bit careful, but he's playing full health Ornn at this moment, and he has biscuits. I think he's under absolutely no threat here.
Yeah, we look at the states of lanes. I mean, Karis has a Omega push on Care. We're actually going to see Vampire get a double knockdown down here on the bot side. Jwei's going to have to use his crash down out of there. They will get that extra push going for themselves as Monki goes for a bit of an invade play. Won't be anything over here for him to take, but using this priority of his lanes very well to use this pressure at least.
Vampire is going to be able to clear out this ward. Vampire is going to be able to clear out the ward. Trundle, I wonder if he just goes for a recall and races top because he sees this lane. It's going to be too late for him at this point. Maybe there's just going to opt for a swap here into Rumble. It makes the most amount of sense and would definitely help out WE's kind of win condition that we set out for them.
Yeah. All right. They will be doing that as we do see Taeyoon moving up towards topside. Cube should go ahead and get that reset going. See if that match is going to be there. So far, JiaQi and Jwei are just going to be clearing this one, trying to get it pushed in. Should be matching now.
So they're going to be late for this. This will mean that Rumble's going to be able to push this in. Ornn's going to catch this wave. So what this ends up meaning in the grand scheme of things here, Lennon, is that Taeyoon's going to potentially catch up at least one wave's worth of minion gold versus his opponents, which you can kind of see equalizes the matchup as we see already.
Yeah. which I think is appreciated at this point. But I got to start begging the question here. Level 6s, I mean, that needs to be a game moment for FPX. Need to find that proactivity. The Vi Ahri is such a lethal combo, as you had said in the draft. After all these nerfs, it still finds success. It still finds play. But we said it at the beginning, they need to be the one with the ball in their hands.
And a large part of that will come through unlocking these supports. I think very quickly we are going to see both Jwei and Vampire leave these 280 carries on their islands.
Oh my god, Vampire not realizing he doesn't have the health bar. That armor shred is definitely bringing him second thoughts on the Alistar. Will get out though after he flashes and heals.
Okay, I won't lie, Lennon. This is one way you can unlock your support. Let them take an early recall, and then they get to just walk mid.
It's all
sure. It's solo experience here now for Taeyoon.
That's gonna feel good as he was falling a little bit behind in CS. Monki will be spotted out while he takes the dragon. No real response going to be available for FPX as they are moving Milky Way over. They have Jwei coming as well. They actually hit a charm on the Karis. Dragon taking a while to burn here, but there's a bunch of bodies here. Oh, they are surrounding. It is like sharks, but they are cosplaying as phoenixes. There's the equalizer down. Dragon does end up going to Monki in the end. They're going to try to realm warp over the wall. He was going like 5 feet anyways. Karis trying to get the flash over the thick part of the wall. Going for the kills. He's going with the FPX banner as well. The resets with the Spirit Rush as they were trying to look for the finishing touches. Nice unstoppable from Cube there to get away from the charm.
Still a huge amount of gold going into the right pockets here for FPX. Care getting those 2 kills, getting some more stacks on his Dark Seal. And now Sheer, he gets this entire wave, potentially this turret plate as well. This is what we wanted to see from FPX. It's still the Dragon going over to WE, which has been a hallmark of their early game so far in split number 3. They get to secure this. Karis, I think you just got to be able to use the flash there. I recognize that he trusts Vampire to block, so that was a great response coming in from the Ahri.
Yeah, I could see it. I could see the angle why you go for that one. It's just funny when you see a Realm Warp cast that close, and then obviously Care pounces on him. And I got to talk about that man, Care, because honestly, this is perfect to FPX's gameplay. They want to fight WE early, and the fact that Care now, honestly, the pillar player for FPX after all these years is going to be set up for success.
He's had so many games where I'm like, holy crap, Care, yeah, this is
Yeah,
the guy I wanted
This
to
is
see
the
for so many
franchise
years,
guy.
but a lot of invisible games as well, where he doesn't necessarily kind of live up to some of that hype that we had seen from him in those games. So maybe this is one of those, right? This is that Care performance that reminds us why he's been on this lineup for so long. We have the grub spawning in 15 seconds, and I think it's very risky here for WE to try to contest this with level 6s now available for Milky Way and no flashes for some of the members.
Yeah, a little bit topsy-turvy now, but I think grubs would be a great boon for both sides in terms of their siege potential. Milky Way and Monki going to meet up. Instant flash from Milky Way. That's a really good call to get away from the pillar because lockdown was coming immediately after. But now no flash for the grub fight.
Okay, let's see. Vampire could look for a re-entry, looking onto Milky Way potentially.
Oh, why is WE fighting though? We immediately get the pull from FPX as Jwei finds a massive crash down. Vampire getting low and now going to give resets to Care. Care can just go monstrous. That franchise player, he's finally stepping up to the bat and he misses the charm as I say that. They're going to turn back to the grubs.
This was doomed from the start though. Like Cube gets the push in a wave and you saw that Sheer, he didn't have the TP to match, so he just needed to be in position, ready to go. FPX, they fought another kill. They get all of these grubs, which is exactly what they needed. They may have not gotten the first dragon, but another objective going their way gives them some side lane pressure as this game goes on. And Jwei, man of the hour, next to Care, gets a 3-man crash down with the Magnet Storm. I just don't understand, Lennon. What are WE doing here?
I mean, we said it for minute one. We beat it like a dead horse. Do not fight. You are a scaling team. You need to get items under you. And that's 2 fights in a row. They were not set up and still fighting in the end. But I think this gives a perfect zoom in of how much impact these supports can have. on the negative side for Vampire for sure in some of these moments. But Jwei, like, this man is a absolute machine when he's on it for FPX. He finds the engage. He hand delivers it to the rest of the team.
He was so exciting last year. I was like, okay, maybe there's a chance. It's hard to get underneath having to play a player like Crisp and Mako. So I'm glad that we get to see Jwei back up on the lineup, and he has been so exciting since this team has been able to find success in Split 2. So hopefully for FPX, we can continue to see more and more winning ways for these guys.
And now their composition is kind of just cruising. As I'm gonna say that's 1000th kill for Care. Probably something like that. Maybe we can have Kai second check us. But I do believe that was kills, which is kind of crazy. But that's the also little thing about Care is it's not like he's a new player. Like if we say he's a franchise player, it's because he's been around for a long time for FPX in terms of development. And you know, after FPX kind of finally shed all their world championship stature, with all the players finally leaving, Chris being the last to hit the lights as he goes out, you know, Care was left there to be the man.
It's been 4 years, man. Like him joining FPX Blaze, coming on through, and look, he's in a good spot. I mean, we're 11 minutes into this game. Milky Way and Care have already finished their first items. Plus, they're the early game team that we had set up. Dragon's now here. I need to see what WE can get done in this moment, because there's not even topside camps for Monki to do here. Oh, boy.
They're just completely caught out now. Vampire losing chunks of his health at a time to Care. As then Charm, maybe one more will come in. Not going to be there. Does get hit by the Malignants in the end, but he'll instantly have to back. And the Dragon is spawned, so FPX should be able to just grab this one and stop that stacking for WE.
No teleport available for the Alistar, so like you just said, very clearly going to be their objective to control as FPX. We're getting a picture-in-picture. This must have been how Taeyoon lost his ultimate. That makes sense. But now they're going to make a dive.
Oh,
Even
no.
with them not having ultimates, let's get some summoner spells. He has no flash right now.
Vampire's here. He just hit 6 as well, so we finally have the Unbreakable Will. I think that makes things a bit different. You can see FPX hesitant because Realm Warp was also possible to come in from Karis from mid.
But they needed to do this. They need to be able to shift up the lanes, get some unlucky timers here for Team WE. So I like the fact that we're seeing progressive movements here. And right now it's only 2,000 gold here for FPX. This is about where we want to see them at 12 minutes.
Again, the car is riding along. We're just cruising. Cruise control is on. We're chilling. Are you a cruise control liker?
I am afraid of pressing the cruise control button on my car because I have yet to read the instruction manual in depth.
You never used it? Okay. Cruise control is
I've used it once.
Cruise
but like,
control is OP.
I guess.
For long drives, it's so good. But I will say, my car, I have a Dodge Charger from like 2014, and I didn't know it, but there was a recall because apparently the cruise control would just rev the engine and just go, like it would just keep speeding up at some random times. So I never touched my cruise control for like the last 7 years or something. Even though I went and got it fixed and everything, I'm like, what if it just like starts speeding up all of a sudden, and then, you know, there's nothing you can really do about it. So cruise control could be a dual-ended beast.
I'm very afraid of my. Every time I've pressed it on my car, it just goes to 30, and I'm like, oh, this is boring. There's nothing to do here. Like,
You
it's
can
not.
change the speed.
Yeah. Also, it lets. I want it to like. I like the feeling of control, especially in a large vehicle, right?
Yeah.
So, as we get back into this game, Lennon, still not much doing. I mean, we got a minute and a half before the Herald here, and I think there's now more reason than we've seen in the last 13 minutes for WE to actually contest. They finished some items here. I think Kaisa in particular is really strong, especially with the Kraken Slayer changes that we saw come in.
Yeah, and I do really like the Trinity Force spike as well for the Trundle. And now having the subjugation, things like that to try to pick apart these fights, really targeting Jwei and Monki with those. But it is going to be a conversation about these next objectives. At least the Rift Herald does WE want to make a preemptive play on a Care, but it has been spotted out. He's going to flash out just in case. Would rather flash than use the ultimate. That's a little bit question marky for me, but does end up getting out nonetheless.
I think it's fine. Like 30 seconds, he doesn't have teleport, but the fact that he has Malignance means that you're going to have this ultimate up. You're going to have a pseudo flash with a smaller timer. So just use this. I think there's also the combat efficacy of the ultimate that he gets access to. So he's going to be able to push in one more wave. WE are way too early for this. They didn't even get a meaningful amount of vision set up for this objective.
There is a bit of an item differential with Sheer being a little bit behind, maybe trying to get a back off and be able to TP into the fight. But FPX, as you said, FPX move in after WE lose a little bit of their tempo after showing up so early, and now it's going to be a contest over Prio in mid lane first and foremost.
And Jwei still has full HP. The only thing that's missing here for FPX is they don't have a flash for their mid laner. But Care right now, looking in top, or I'm looking in the bottom lane right now, Sheer is so close to level 11. He has to be able to wait for this if he wants any possibility of upgrading the Equalizer.
Jwei and Milky Way missed their shot, so Vampire feels like he can go back in. As he goes back in, loses about half his health. He's going to have to back away now. Did end up burning the heal. He's actually going to choose to stick around as FPX have started up the Rift Herald. WE are hesitant here. They are under vision. They're going to move over anyways, and Vampire's forced to pop the Unbreakable Will.
What are we doing with this teleport? We're too late now. All right, WE, Hail Mary, brother.
All right, they're going to choose that Hail Mary to leave as they do take their slow and steady escape. Rift Herald will go to FPX.
I'm stunned. I've been flashbanged. I've been Sona ulted in real life. I'm speechless. Like FPX, they have 3 grubs. Now they have feats of strength already completed. They can play this in so many different ways, Lennon. If they don't want to prioritize the dragon and want to get short-term gold, they have 3 grubs and a herald that they can use anywhere else on the map. Pings are coming out, and they still have these massive teamfight ultimates at their fingertips. So
yeah,
WE are confounding me in so many ways.
But honestly, that's a little bit of the story of the split. I mean, you got to remember, this team has not found a victory yet in serious score, at least. It's been a tough sledding, 0-5 in a double round robin, still feels omega bad. And the losses keep coming. We'll see if they can try to right that ship in some way or fashion. But FPX have decided they just want to fight the dragon. They say, WE don't have the stuff to contest us. And right now, WE haven't given us anything to say otherwise.
Sheer's going to be able to join up with his team. Taeyoon and Karis, the big damage dealers, are nowhere near.
Here we go, double knockup. The crash down goes a little bit wide from Jwei, but look, it's a front to back, and FPX love that. The Spirit Rush is there, but look at Taeyoon. He finds the kill, double knockup there. Cease and desist right onto him, and it's an R-diff, baby. Vi for Milky Way comes online, and FPX destroy Team WE on the next fight, and that's going to be onto the dragon too.
Oh my god, Milky Way! I want everybody to watch Milky Way in this replay, man. Just
insane.
Getting the flash predict onto Taeyoon and the rest of WE. It is going from bad to worse. If this game ends up going hyper late, WE can find a chance back into this, but looking at this fight, it's just doomed. Like, Vampire has no HP to start, and even with this engage, look at this from Milky Way. Only onto Jwei. He gets the blast back from his E, and then right here, Taeyoon, like, he ults in, flashes back over the wall. I'm so confused by the decision.
He just wanted the kill to get out.
I guess, but look what happens. You lose the fight, you lose the dragon, and guess what? FPX still have a herald if they want. They can take over this entire map.
And I want you to screenshot your screen. If you're an FPX fan, take this moment, put it in your pocket, keep it for safekeeping, because this is what prime FPX these days looks like. 100% KP on Milky Way, Care, and Jwei. If you have that for FPX, you have the world. And it's looking like a complete team diff right now in game number 1.
Won't lie, Lennon, if my jungle, mid, and support are the most involved in the game, I think that's a championship-winning roster right there. That's a recipe for success. Now, do I think FPX are picking up a trophy this season? The odds are not looking good. I think less than 1%, but not 0.
Not 0, he says. But yeah, I mean, it's just tough sledding for WE to look for anything on the map now. Again, from the beginning, this FPX team has been a snowball-oriented team, and they continue to find success with that.
WE are thankful that they picked up the first dragon, at least being able to grab that for themselves. Not even really be able to deal any damage. I feel bad for Monki because he's obviously a big leader for this team vocally, and when you look at the composition built around him, he is starting to lose out on jungle camps very, very quickly. Already a turret falling on bottom side. This will be a turret in mid lane, if not on this wave, then the next. And that'll just mean that this Trundle is not going to get any stronger.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to try to go for an engage. Vampire was looking for a flank here. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. Cube found a flank TP as well, goes for the double knockup. Care still has everything available to him, though. Looking for resets of his own, though, and there's been 2 picks by WE. They are back in it.
Okay, they were able to grab this. Is going to be Otacon, right? Like, look at the experience differential that's about to happen on your screens. They're going to shoot up to potentially a full level and a half over their opponents, and that could be a mistake that cost FPX a game here in this series. I know it's early, but Milky Way looked completely lost in that last fight. It gives them an opening on the side of Team WE.
Yeah, the 100% KP doesn't matter if you can't find access. I think that's going to be the continued biggest question for FPX. WE, they put a little bit of a hamper on that movement forward for FPX. This is a pretty big objective to be able to take away by them.
These cannot be stumbles. I like this from FPX, though. Still play the map, use those 3 grubs. They got the mid-tier one like they wanted. They move into top side. They're able to secure that as well. So not letting it completely collapse in front of them. Being able to drive their gold lead here.
We're going to take a look back at that replay here. The TP flank coming through. The double flank.
But like this entire fight from Milky Way is so bankrupt. Like, we're ulting, we miss Vampire. We tried to Q over the wall because we didn't have vision. We only saw the Call of the Forge God like trail. So our Vi is essentially useless in this fight. And like we saw, the rest of the team got caught up with all of the crowd control thanks to how WE ended up layering it with Cube. So I don't know. I feel like if this is going to be a WE win here in this first game, Lennon, we are going to see that replay a couple times.
Yeah, we are, because I got to say, it's starting to get a little bit scary. It's not there just yet, but second items are going to be there for Taeyoon and Karis. And remember, in their 100th game in the LPL now, maybe it's just that scaling that WE need.
They know that in LPL and in most games, especially amongst the lower end teams, scaling is just going to prevail. Eventually, these teams are going to make mistakes on the map. So
like
I think I respect
here.
Yeah, that is true. Right now, Ahri is pushing really deep. You have the teleport as well to be able to match. I am wondering if FPX are willing to give this up. I know it looks really strange, and wanting to fight, not fight for what could be your sole point is good, but you're seeing item spikes really start to come on through here for WE. I mean, a minute before, Karis is going to finish his Rod of Ages, so he'll be level 15 soon. Like you said, the double items here for Taeyoon. You might want to take your chances elsewhere on the map.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I'm surprised that they kind of let Care take that entire side lane turn. Now 700 gold going his way. Now they are a little bit split, but they are going to be able to get that dragon nonetheless. So it'll tie it up 2-2 on the Mountain Soul, trying to get to that point at least. And now
I like
pushing
this.
on the 2-2. The Realm Warp's huge though. I mean, it gets WE right back to the defense side, and Milky Way will have to get out.
Still, I liked it, making sure that FPX, they're playing aggressive, man. This is exactly what we needed to see. I was ready to see 2 kind of flaccid teams walk in and not really know what they want to do on the map, maybe play really sloppy around objectives, and it hasn't been clean, but at least we're seeing FPX really pressure WE across these structures.
Oh, Milky Way just says, we're going. None of the rest of the team was ready to go. He's all by himself. He immediately flashes away. The Horn goes completely wide. I think it hit my fridge, and FPX and WE calm down.
You just saw there, Milky Way, he did like his entire full rotation of spells, and wait, Care, we don't have ultimate charge.
Care just used his last charge in, had to flash out. WE takes full advantage of that. Care just threw away everything. That's going to be a double kill right back. Milky Way's able to fight back. Now Care might pick up some of the pieces here. Monki gets hit by the ashes, and now you have the double knockup coming in. Cube is trying to pick apart this one, but Sheer is burning them all alive. How did Care go from inting his team to finding an ace for FPX? My God.
I don't want to absolve Care of all of his sins for that fight, because the rest of FPX really put in overtime to make sure that ended up going the way that it did. But goddamn, WE does that not feel good to be able to at least be able to slow down the game a little bit there. Some trips and stumbles there. It makes the gold lead expand to almost 6,000.
Wait.
I agree. It's looking questionable, but all of this damage on the Vampire is fine. He's going to end up ticking down thanks to a lot of the burn damage that's available.
Yeah.
But this is a huge overcommit from WE.
It is. I mean, they smell blood in the water for sure. And the fact that he gets so close to falling in the end but doesn't fall. He now, if we go back to live after this, he has 22 stacks of the Magi. Yeah. I mean, this Ahri is a monster, unkilled as well. And rightfully so, putting resources into the care basket.
This was something that we did say, hey, while we are worried for FPX if the game goes on, the one shining piece for them right now is that they kept their shutdowns. Jwei's going to get out of this fight. They're looking.
Hair's in trouble now, though. Has nothing available to him. They knew he didn't have the flash, and now FPX have overextended. Sheer, a massive equalizer right in the middle of everybody from WE. They have to run away. It will just be a little bit of a dissuading tool because Jwei and Care are already gone.
But can WE actually start this Baron? I don't think so. Look at the HP bars right now. Cube's looking for a teleport back in. Monki, very, very low. You'll have one final smite proc here. Let's see. Can Milky Way get in? He's on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, I mean, he tries to go for the kill on the Cube. Sheer's just in the middle of the pit, but nobody can get anything there for FPX. Now Vampire is the focus from JiaQi. It is Sheer who almost gets a kill back. Milky Way is just going ham now, picking them apart. And Karis gonna dodge out, but gets the fist nonetheless. Milky Way does end up making good on that. They lose the Baron, and it goes over to 2 members of WE, but FPX, they have the tempo.
And WE might lose out on this dragon spawning in a minute and a half because with 3 grubs, FPX, they immediately answer, move into mid lane, take that tier 2, and can set up very easily to put them in position for that soul point. Man, WE losing that Baron on so many crucial members, particularly that Rise, makes it so difficult for this objective to really feel meaningful.
And it was a good play call from them. It's just the execution that continues to be question marks. And that's the tough part about WE. That's the tough part about the 0-5 start in Split 3 and how difficult it has been for this team to put something together.
We're in this replay. I liked how Vampire and Cube were able to start this, but with Sheer just baking the backline. I think most of this fight doesn't honestly matter for the most part, but for me, what I'm looking at is FPX, they got the shutdowns, right? They were able to pick off Care, or sorry, WE were able to get shutdowns during all of this, and they got the Baron gold. So they've kept this gold lead within 4,000 to 5,000.
Yeah.
The Dragons are really, we're not going to see another soul for at least potentially a 6-7 minutes from now.
Yeah, it's going to be a while, and that leans to the favor of WE. We also have ornaments coming through as well. The Gnasher's Tooth has been upgraded for Taeyoon. He's on 3 items on the Kaisa. That is the threshold. That's the break point that really means that Kaisa comes online. It's just about now those entrances into these fights. As the Dragon goes down, WE are willing to give this one away, trying to utilize the rest of their Baron buff here if they can.
Such a waste of a Baron buff. Like, maybe they get one more turret to smack here in mid lane. It looks like FPX are just going to trade this structure for that, put themselves on Mountain Soul Point. WE are fishing, though. They want something. They want to try to catch someone off, maybe get some of these summoner spells away from Sheer.
They do catch Sheer. He flashes really late, and the Ornhorn's going to come across, knock him down. Taeyoon finds him. That's 1,000 gold over. Crash down here. This is a front to back that FPX love, though. Nice double knock up into the back line. A triple knock up in the less. Look at Taeyoon, though. He's getting locked down. Goes golden. Buys so much time, but JiaQi and the rest of FPX have surrounded him like hounds, or more like phoenixes, as they light their fire. Care will chase the rest of WE.
They're going to get all of this. This is a 4-man play here where FPX, they take them down. They got the Dragon. WE, more of the same. What have we seen from them all split long here, Lennon? It is them being over-eager on objectives, them trying to really outfight their opponents, where maybe that would have worked in Split 2. It is not working here. You said that Sheer flashed a little too late, but they have no way of interacting with him. Look where the rest of his team is right now. Even this flash, the eventual knockup eventually brings Taeyoon, but that's all your tools. You have no subjugate anymore.
In the middle of the equalizer as well. The crash down from Jwei. And that's the supportal impact you need to see for FPX. And I appreciate the dissection that FPX have had against WE in a lot of these fights.
Both of these teams play relatively short-ranged compositions, but when you have an Ahri, that just means that you have a little bit further reach than your opponent. When you have this Corki, you have a little bit further to be able to actually attack them. Whereas Kaisa, she's like, oh crap, I have to be able to walk into a Rumble, into a Vi. This is never going to go well for me here. So that was also the Seeker's arm guard gone now from Taeyoon. He will not have access to that until he finishes his Zonias. This is only going to get tougher.
They had to show the negative Baron power play there. Negative 31 gold.
Happens.
And that power play feels a little bit bad for WE. But I was talking about the Magi stacks. As I said, he had 22. He gets caught out in that crazy fight in mid. Loses it, goes down to 12. Baby's back. He's 24 now on the Magi. And Care really stepping up in this game, number one. I think him and Milky Way's combinations, it was what brought this team to those playoff moments, to those high highs that we had all gotten so excited about Milky Way for. It was this combo, this mid-jungle duo, and we're looking at them pick them apart again. Milky Way and Care, arm in arm, combining together with Sheer to find more picks, and Monki goes down.
But it was the other way around, Lennon. Remember when we were talking about Milky Way last year? It was, okay, this guy is going to hard carry through the jungle. Kara is going to pick up things like the Ahri. He's going to play things like Annie to set up Milky Way for success. I feel like it's been the complete opposite here in this game, whereas Kara's really taken this game by the horns. And we see it reflected in the scoreline. You can see it individually, 3,000 gold over his opponent. And this Ahri is incredibly difficult for WE to kind of put down.
Yeah, I didn't know Care was part of the World Championship Rodeo, whatever it is called. I forget what it's called. I don't know. The Touring Rodeo Championship.
I have. This is all you, man. I have no stake in this pool.
They even have like a broadcast and stuff. It's pretty cool. But yeah, that's Care thematically now. But honestly, with this series, it's one of those moments that he needed to step up. I mean, if FPX can go to 2 and 4, that's much different of a story in this kind of double round robin setup we have in split number 3 than going 1 and 5, right? And it gives a little bit more hope for FPX to try to make that push.
Very important for them to be able to win, because this is a team that we expect to be fighting them at the bottom of the standings in Group Ascend. So every win you are able to take in the double round robin means that you're going to have a likely better matchup going into the play-ins for playoffs here. So we see some posturing from FPX. They want to see if they can get a push on from mid and then choose which objective they want to go for, right? Because you have Soul spawning in 50, but with 3 grubs, you might be able to make a claim that you can end the game with this Baron that is now up.
I will also say, though, slightly, I mean, WE's lead is about 4,000, or deficit's about 4,000. They have a ton of ornaments coming online now. So I would say that lead is not as big, and they are coming into their powerhouse moments, right? That 4th item spike is really another big step up for them, and they're just going to force the Baron hand in front of FPX. FPX are scrambling to figure out what they want to do, and they've already lost the objective.
Like, why were we doing this? Okay, Joshy's going to be here. This could actually turn into a very good play for FPX in a moment.
I think, yeah, WE are overextending just a little bit. They do have Baron buff on 5 members. Dragon is coming up now. Care has found the flank of all flanks, but maybe they can catch out on JiaQi. He is going to get low. He does have to use the Valkyrie out, but now they've lost everything. 4-man knock-in by Jwei, and that might just replace my favorite clip of the split. Jwei just cuts them down to size, and WE have nothing left in this fight. We said scaling. We said all these moments that needed to come alive for them. Milky Way will not find Taeyoon in the end, but the rest of FPX will. They're going to chase him down. He tries to go in for a flashy play, but he'll die nonetheless, and Care picks him off in the end.
FPX, all they needed to do is corral WE. I had some questions as to whether or not that Dragon was going to work, but all of it just a bait as JiaQi was coming out of base with a completed item. Care ends up getting a huge flank like we saw, and that's going to be FPX taking game 1 of this series.
Jwei just keeps doing insane things. I mean, that was definitely WE biting off more than they can chew. But Jwei able to punish them as soon as they do. It's the double FPX emotes to cap it all off, but game number 1 is a slugfest between FPX and WE, and the Phoenix will rise high for game number 1 victory.
Okay, good start to the series. FPX being able to find that. And for my fellow WE fans, we got to hold out hope, okay? Game 2, Scion's available. There's no Trundle. We got Skarner potentially here. A lot of good things in our future as long as the draft goes our way.
Yeah, that's the big ticket item right there. As long as it goes your way. Unfortunately, we did end up seeing a lot of the same WE that we've seen across all the other series that we've had, where there's some moments of some togetherness, some brightness, but you look back, some of them stakes, right? This is a composition that wanted to scale, really wanted to reach that third, fourth item. We were fighting over every single objective. Even if there weren't objectives up, we were fighting over mid lane prio. And I think those kinds of moments, that is the difference between a top tier team and a team like WE.
Well, the difference between a top tier team and a team like WE is probably winning some of those fights, because our front runner for LPL has been BLG, and they take some of the worst objective fights, and they just win because they got better hands. So I agree with you,
man.
though, Lennon.
It's crazy.
Yeah, like WE, that first dragon fight just really confuses me. We're playing a Kaisa setup where we don't even have some of our ultimates up and available. Why are we looking for that? Even the first set of grubs that we saw, WE just more and more of the same over-aggressive takes on objectives end up backfiring.
Yeah, and that's something you can't see even in these kinds of moments against FPX when you're right there in the mud with them. You still need to find those moments of realizing what your composition does and how to execute it. And I think FPX did a really good job of realizing that. I love that you said it. KR kind of grabbed the game by its horns, because he really did. A lot of the time, it's the Vi that starts the setup in that combination. And we saw that at the very beginning, right? But as soon as KR started feeling confident, he was literally like melee ranging Alistars and trying to find those big angles in these team fights. And I think that is a nice step up in a moment where you could play that more as like, oh, I'm the carry, everybody play around me, do things for me, where he goes out and does it himself.
I'm glad to see that from KR. I'll just be honest here, Mazel, like, I don't know how many more of these performances from FPX I got in me, because it pains me, right? Like, we've been here for 8 months now, 9 if you also count the Demacia Cup. How many of these games are we going to get from KR where we're like, damn, you look so good.
Damn,
how can we not get that consistently throughout the season? Even if it is up against teams like TT or NIP and Split 2, why can we not get this like 60 to 70% of the games?
I agree, and that'll forever be the question. Maybe until KR's career comes to an end. But maybe it'll change. Maybe we'll see. Hey, I'm not saying when that's going to happen. It could happen anytime. It could be 40 years from now. But we do see a very one-sided game from FPX. There were some fightbacks. You see those little chunks in the gold graph. That's where, some of those compositional strength really aligned for WE. And Taeyoon was having himself a performance on that Kaisa. He was diving all over the place in those team fights, but unfortunately it wasn't enough. And now that pick isn't going to be on the table for the rest of the series.
I went rummaging through some stats. It is so funny to me that we come into this saying there's going to be a huge focus on mid lane, whether or not these two are going to be able to perform. I look at KR in the league. He has some of the lowest CS per minute, some of the lowest gold per minute generation, so he's not usually very wealthy. Damage per minute also, he's the lowest in his role. And then gold difference at 15, he has the worst gold at 15 in the entire league. Not just in mid lane, anywhere in LPL.
Crazy.
So to see him have such a large performance, the one good stat that I was able to pull for him, highest kill percentage of any mid at almost 80%.
He's who they play around. He's who they find success around sometimes, most of the time, when they do find success. Another little stat that came up in that game that I thought is actually hilarious is FPX has 100% first turret win percentage, which at 1-4 with the series that they've had is hilarious to me. But it's just a little thing, just a little thing.
Their first turret percentage is 9.1. They are the worst team in the league at taking the first turret. Reasonably so, especially when we have seen them game. Yeah, there you go. We're keeping this. I think WE had a very similar stat actually in Split 2, which I thought was very funny. So I'm glad you're tapped in on that.
Yeah. Same page, man. Same page. There's just a lot of overextension from WE, and I think it's good for FPX to capitalize on those. I don't necessarily know if it gives us like super confidence in them just taking straight on game fights, like even fights and things along those lines, but you have to be able to capitalize on mistakes, and I think WE just overextending so many times into a comp that was really good at kind of counteracting that engage and diving through. Got to give massive shout outs to Jwei. I don't know who's going to get MVP here. I do expect it to be Karis, but I think Jwei had so much impact. And if he doesn't get a little bit of a nod at least, I'll be very sad. Because, again, this replaces the Alistar play for me. Like, this is insane.
For sure. I think Karis just deserves it for the body of work he put throughout the game. There were moments there from Jwei where it looked really nice. But a lot of these plays don't work if... I think they don't. They still work more or less the same if Jwei hadn't landed as many people in the Magnet Storm. I think if Karis doesn't put out the damage that he does in this game, these fights are not as... convenient here for FPX. And you talked about it there a little bit. Like, sure, they're not necessarily being more proactive of punishing their opponents, but they are catching some of the tosses that W were throwing towards them. And as a competitor, you have to just say, like, screw it, dude. We can't just be focused on trying to play clean League of Legends. We just got to get these wins. Now we're in split 3. It's chop chop.
Yeah, it's all about the action. It's all about trying to figure out quickly what works for you and how to utilize that in these ways, and especially for FPX, just realizing that, you know, giving this mid-jungle duo a lot of resources has been paying off for them, and how to use that even more so as we're going to be getting the MVP here and now, and do expect it to be that franchise player in the mid lane for FPX.
Really well earned. Again, we've talked about it now, so exciting to see. And going into the second game of the series, can FPX close out a 2-0, or are we going to get more of that WE magic? Can they maybe find their first win of the season?
I think it's 3 games, baby. I think we need to make up for not having a second series. True. We have to. But that was game 1. It was pretty exciting if you're an FPX fan, see if WE can come back from it. But if you would like to support the LPL English in any way, shape, or form, consider becoming a Coffee member. Coffee is the best way to directly support the LPL English project, since vast majority of your contributions go directly to the show. You can pay, you help pay for talent, the volunteer that talent do. You help pay for broadcast adjustments, upgrading the broadcast in multiple different ways, and helping pay all the content creators as well for all their volunteering. Subscribe to our Coffee, linked in the chat. Unlock perks like early access to content and ability to even provide some questions for our interviews as well. So if you want to support us, please go drop into our Coffee, see if anything fits for you, and give as much as you are willing to give. But that's it for our game number 1 of the day, of our short day. We'll see if WE can bounce back for game number 2.